I'm going to try and do a little news update, but before I do it, I just ran into George and Claire, and I had like a little, they do ask for the dollar, and I wanted to let them know I just gave it to Nina.
Great, that's awesome.
I did, I ran into Nina. I knew they'd be a little upset this. I believe there's like a little, I'm going to do a little news update, actually. But when I just got into the bluff, James, my friend.
Hey, brother.
Oh, George is panhandling. I don't like that. James was sitting on the curb. My other friend James, and look, I would have hung out with him. Somebody picked him up for a job, but you know what he was doing there? He's sitting next to somebody that was working at the Mexican restaurant, a young kid, and I think they sent him home for the day because he did something wrong. And as I walked up, James was encouraging him, saying, "Well, don't let it hold you back." And all. So I was talking to James, and he was doing okay. And this is Claire and George, of course. Paisley is right there. Daddy is back home, and I actually was going to see Jammer. I mean, I went down by the pier yesterday thinking maybe I'll see him over there, but I'm sure he's got a spot where I can't run into.
Nina took a pill yesterday. She ain't been back.
I know you guys, I knew they were kind of getting, she told me, I thought she told me she threw water on you.
She threw water on me, just now. I'm soaking wet.
Oh, okay.
She threw a glass of water
I knew
on
they
me.
were arguing because they saw one of our other
No, I
friends
wasn't arguing. She just walked
earlier,
in and threw
like right before I got up here, and that's
So
what.
this is full BS.
Okay, I'm gonna do my news update because
Love you.
I'm not going anywhere. It's just
Hey everybody, I love
you guys are not, and so this will be friends and news. I don't like to mix them both. Also, I saw my friend Furman's back in town, but I didn't stop yet. But I hope to go see him. I might see him after this. Let me just talk a little bit about, not a whole lot, but I do listen to the radio. I listen to the news. I pick up the Colder Times. I'll just kind of do it brief. Those that are strong Trump haters, I understand they have one view. Those who are strong Hillary Clinton haters, they have another view. Or those who are very liberal have a view. But recently, the Democratic Party brought a civil lawsuit against President Trump and the Republicans and all. And the suit is because of the whole Russia collusion. And did Russia ever really hack into the computers of the Democratic National Committee? Now, this is a big story in world news, and it's been going on. Most of you know about the investigation on, and I just want to give you a little when you see unevenness in things. Mrs. Clinton also had the other problem with the other computer, which was the server thing, where most of you, some of you might be familiar with that. But the computers that some say Russia hacked into, these were the ones during the campaign that a lot of people said they did indeed leak through WikiLeaks. Julian on, they did indeed leak texts and things and emails, and this was illegal, not illegal things that they were exposing, but they were showing how, behind the scenes that the Clintons and various groups were doing, bad stuff. Okay, normally, as far as I know, in every investigation that rises to a level like this, what you do is the federal government, the Justice Department, and the FBI, when you have an allegation this serious that has kind of embroiled the country now for a year and a half, you actually get those computers, meaning the Justice Department, the FBI, put a subpoena, but you would also get them willingly, meaning if you were Hillary Clinton, you'd say, "Oh, of course I'll give you the computers. We want to get to the bottom of it." Till this day, the official investigative agencies of our country have never looked at those computers. Amazingly so. And when they were asked, this came out these last 6 months or so, and our agencies were asked, why did you never actually do a forensic investigation on the computers that they claimed that they were hacked by Russia and so forth? Now the Democrats are bringing a civil suit. They said, how could you have never personally looked at those computers? And their answer, the official answer from the federal government was, the Clintons and the Democrats did not want to hand them over to us. And therefore, the Clintons and the Democrats hired a private firm, I think it was called CloudStrike. It'd be like me hiring the laptop shop. You hired a private firm and they concluded that Russia and all hacked into those computers. Now, anybody that's serious about news and things would automatically say there's a problem there. Because if I gave one comparison, if Mr. Trump and his campaign guy, Paul Manafort, and all these other people, when they were being investigated, during the investigations by the FBI and Justice Department, all this, you have lawyers on both sides that try to work together. Meaning, if the Justice Department FBI wants Paul Manafort's computer, or Trump's computer, or the other guy, Cohen, the lawyer, then what you do is the other side says, okay, we're going to give you this. We're going to release these documents. We'll give you this. And if you're cooperating, normally you don't do a subpoena and then arrest those people. But in the Clinton case, they were not even cooperating, meaning they just told the Justice Department and the FBI, we don't want to hand them over. Now, normally, I would say probably in every case like this, what happens is the Justice Department, the federal agencies, then issue a subpoena and say, well, maybe you don't want to hand them over, but here's a subpoena and you give them to us. The reason that never happened is because we've seen this last year. You have people in these agencies that are very political. During one of the other investigations that went on was on the servers, and a lady by the name of Huma Aberdeen, the former wife of Anthony Weiner from New York, they also found, okay, this became a big issue. James Comey and them, when they were investigating the laptop of Anthony Weiner, they found some classified emails or emails that might have been classified. And in that case, when the FBI and Justice Department interviewed people in that was also part of this whole thing going on, they themselves, the investigative agencies, destroyed the evidence. They took some of the computers that were in question. They gave Huma Aberdeen and one of the other ladies, they gave them, they promised them that they would not be prosecuted for certain crimes. They gave them, I forget the name of it, but they said, we're going to issue you that you're not going to be prosecuted. And a lot of people thought, that means they're going to have an investigation. No, they actually cleared them and destroyed the evidence. Now, that has never happened in any serious analysis of any investigation. They gave them immunity. And it might be hard for some of you to follow this, but regardless of your view, when you saw all that happen, you realized a lot of the people behind the scenes were doing a lot of political stuff that rose to the level of illegality. And now Mr. Comey, who the normal media, and the Color Times and all doesn't cover any of this, but the normal media, they cover it up. The normal media would let you think that all of this is a joke or a game. Mr. McCabe, the FBI guy, he's going to more than likely face criminal charges. And possibly now James Comey, the FBI director. Because even the legal analyst on CNN, which is very liberal, okay? They're very pro-Comey, they're very against Trump. Even the legal analyst on CNN came out the last few days and said, no, Mr. Comey did indeed break the law in the releasing of memos to his friend, Columbia University professor, and leaked it to the New York Times. But the only reason I mention all this is you would think that the public would be aware of some of that. If I wanted to sue you, because they said, you know what, you hacked into my computer, and I'm going to sue you. And I said, well, did the cops look at your computer, John? Did they investigate? Oh, no, I didn't let them. Well, then how do you know that we hacked into your computer? I hired my friend at the laptop shop, a little computer place. And he looked at it and he told, okay, therefore we're going to launch a whole national investigation. It's going to consume the country for 3.5. The reason they didn't follow any of those rules is because later was revealed that behind the scenes, these same people, FBI people like Peter Strzok and the other woman, they were texting each other texts that could be interpreted that we're going to do all we can to get this guy out of office, this Trump. So what you see in that system, to me, that's corruption. Never in the history of the country did you have an investigation on such a national level about the possibility of an impeachment or an indictment of a sitting U.S. president. And until this very day, the Justice Department and FBI have never gotten their hands on the computers of Hillary Clinton. And then when the other computers that they were wanting to get, the server and all the other case, they destroyed that. And Mr. Comey was asked in all these interviews he did last few weeks, they asked him, if you subpoenaed, because I believe Congress subpoenaed those computers, the other ones from the Clintons, they said if they're under subpoena and then they destroy what was subpoenaed, isn't that a crime? Even the liberal media asked Comey this. He said, well, no, maybe she just wanted to hide her personal photos of her friends or whatever, things like that. Well, actually, if something's under subpoena and then you destroy parts of that record, so the viewpoint I'm just trying to share to you is those who are supposedly so concerned about we want to get to the bottom of things, they really don't want to get to the bottom of things. They're playing a game. And the regular mainstream media, they thought, oh, all of this is a joke. Mr. Comey is under no legal threat. Mr. McCabe is under, and now they're all under legal threat because that's the level it rose to. So I wanted to just give you that little update because that's some of the news. You saw Claire and George and Paisley, and that's going to be it. Okay, say one final word.
Hi, sweethearts. I love y'all.
Okay.
God bless you.
George.
Amen.
I love you guys. And I'm just a weirdo, but
No,
I'm
George,
all right.
I'm going to talk to a few of friends, and that'll be the little friends and news update. Oh, I think that's Guitar Jason over there.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's Jammer. I want to see Jammer. They're down that way, okay? God bless everybody.